Hi, thanks for staying with us. I'm Jenny Newell. Hurricane season begins June 1st, and as always, it's very important to have a plan in place prior to hurricane season. Media Relations Manager with AT&T, Kelly Starling, is here to give us some great tips on communicating during the hurricane season.
Absolutely.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. And you know, we realize how critical communication is for people in an emergency situation like a hurricane. So that's why we, invest so much money in getting our network ready, and that's why we say to people, you need to take steps as well. And given we've been on this really long, quiet streak, I think a lot of us, I will include myself, have become more complacent, thinking we're going to, have another season where nothing happens. But that's when you let your guard down that it seems that we get hit with them.
Absolutely.
So one of the first things we encourage people to do is to make sure they have a family communications plan, and primarily, picking someone that lives outside of the area that's going to be impacted to be your primary contact that people can touch base with and make sure they know everyone's okay. And also pre-program in emergency numbers, not just with key family members, but include the fire department, the police station, the hospital. Make sure you keep your devices charged. And have a backup plan for what if I don't have power? What if the storm leaves us without power? How am I going to make sure my battery, stays charged? Because a lot of people don't have landline service anymore, and that's going to be your one line of communication. So either do something as simple as have a car charger, because I know when Francis hit us, we were without power for 8 days, and I had to charge my phone in the car several times, or get get extra cell phone batteries. They even have disposable cell phone batteries now. So just have some kind of a plan and make sure you can keep that device powered.
Absolutely.
Also, make sure that you keep it protected from any water, because a lot of times with a storm, that's going to be your biggest threat, is water damage to the device. And as you know, there's a plethora of cases out there now that you could use to protect your device. They're water resistant, but honestly, in a pinch, a Ziploc bag will work. Just keep it sealed and, again, away from any type of water damage.
Absolutely.
We also encourage people to remember all the tools that they have on that device that they can use to stay in the loop and what's going on. Again, if you lose power and you can't watch your TV, or if you don't have a battery-operated radio, and if the cell service is still working, you can use your smartphone to look at the local weather reports, or they even have subscription services that will show you radar right down to your street. Also with damage, if you have property damage, you can take pictures, you can record video and send them directly to your insurance company from your device. Again, like in my situation with no power for 8 days, not having my personal computer, that came in handy.
Absolutely.
There's navigation tools like GPS device services, so that if you are trying to leave the area and you want to avoid a place where maybe there's down trees or there's detours because
signs are down,
or you're getting ready to evacuate, having one of those GPS services like Navigator or something will help you.
Absolutely.
So think about that device as not just a way to call someone, but all the tools that are on it that could help you. The other thing we encourage people to remember, we know that in a situation like that, everyone's going to want to be on their devices right away, making sure everyone's okay, or do you still have your power? We just encourage people to understand call volume is going to be super high in a situation like that. So try to keep your non-emergency calls to a minimum. We really want to keep the the network open for the first emergency responders. So keep them to non-emergency calls. If you do make a call and you get a fast busy on your cell phone, again, it just means there's a lot of stuff going on in the network. Hang up, wait about 10 seconds, give that data or information to try to move through the pipes in the network. But really, your best bet of communicating in a situation where you've got lots of people trying to get on the network is through text messaging.
I was going to ask.
Because it requires a lot less resources in our network. It's just like little bits of data going out. So I know in one of those seasons, it was either 04 or 05 where we had the bad seasons, I communicated with coworkers through text messaging. It worked for me. So that's key as well. And I'm trying to think. Just again, try to, again, be patient in their situation and know that's what's going to happen. You're going to have lots of people wanting to get on the network.
Right, right, absolutely. Do you have all of this information on your website anywhere?
Yes, it's att.com/vital connections.
Okay.
And it has all the tips there to remind people what they can do to make sure they're prepared. And again, this is for anyone who's a wireless user, anyone. Doesn't matter who your provider is.
Absolutely. And even though hurricane season begins June 1st, you really should kind of have this top of mind.
Exactly. Get it.
All the
That's
time.
like us. You know, we go around, we check our cell sites that, you know, we check the generators to make sure they're capped off. We check the high capacity batteries we have there.
Right.
And just like everyone else, if we know that a storm's coming in our area, we then bring like additional generators and stage them somewhere where it's safe, where we can get to them after the storm, or like the mobile cell sites, we have the cows, cell on wheels. And then when the storm passes, we can deploy that equipment wherever we need it, just depending on how badly the network has been impacted by the storm. So we do the, you know, again, we have to do the same thing.
Right.
And when we know a storm's coming, we add extra capacity to our network because we know people are going to be in Home Depot, you know, all these stores buying out the supplies, and we know we're going to have a peak in traffic, so we'll like look at our system. And when I say add extra capacity, it's like when you widen a highway, you're adding extra lanes to get more traffic. The same with the cell site. You give it more capacity, you're basically allowing that cell site, you're kind of expanding the bandwidth and allowing more traffic to come on. So we do things like that, knowing we're going to have a lot of people out shopping and in lines, and you know they're going to be on their phones calling, do they have it at that store, do they have it at this store? So we do the preparations, and we encourage others to really to do the same thing.
Right, right. And this is something, I mean, this obviously is not your first rodeo. You are very well versed in all of this, obviously.
We've
had, you do a lot of this
in the Southeast, you do. But the one thing you learn is no two events are ever the same.
Oh, no.
And you just keep trying to learn after, you know, always have your postmortems afterwards and say, what can we have done better?
Right.
What was our biggest challenge with this one? So, yes.
Absolutely. Well, we always appreciate you coming on. I mean, you always have such good tips and reminders. So not just hurricane season, but you offer so many other services as well.
Well, we want to help. So anything we can do to get the word out, and again, make sure that people are prepared and will be able to, you know, connect when they need it the most.
Absolutely. And just give us the resource one more time, the website.
att.com/vital connections, all one word.
Okay, perfect. Well, Kelly Starling with AT&T, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. This is very timely. This worked out perfect.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, well, thank you so much for being here. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.
We'll be right back after these messages.